How great is our God? How great is our God? Oh, worthy of all praise. Worthy to be praised. I am so grateful. I'm so grateful to be standing in the love of God, in the presence of God, in the power of God. For I know that the love of God surrounds all of us. The grace of God comforts us. The power of God gives us strength and moves us forward. Oh, how great is our God. For I know that there is only one life. That life is God. That life is good. That life is good. That life is my life. My life. Today I know that that is my life. Reverend Dr. Ona Afre, my life is that life of God. I know that the life of God exists between each and every one of us. For there is no disconnect. There is no separation. There is only God. No matter what it looks like, no matter what it feels like, no matter what it's saying to us, right? I know it's still God expressing. I know even when it doesn't look good, that we can speak out into the universe and say, show me the good in this too. Show me the good in everything that we see on the news. Show me the good that everything we see in our neighborhoods and on the streets. Show me the good in every expression of the people in my family. Show me the good today, for I know that this is God expressing all around me, all around us, all the time. And I know that right here at the East Bay Church of Religious Science, this is a center of love, a center of peace, a center of grace, a center of wealth, a center of prosperity, and a center of power. And I am grateful. I am grateful for our senior minister and her direction, her creativity, her ideas, and her visions. I am so grateful for our ministerial team that is in unison and in unity. I am grateful for our practitioners that pray and pray and pray again and pray some more and stand in that prayer with you. I am grateful for our board of trustees that guide and lead and refigure, all for the goodness, not only for our church community, for our larger community in the world. And I'm grateful for each and every volunteer, each and every person that puts together a piece of paper, that brings a meal, that stands in our parking lot, that stands in the back of the church, that comes in and cleans and straightens the chairs and the walls and the doors and the tables. I am grateful for each and every person that shows up, each and every person that just shows up and shows their face. I'm grateful. And I know that in this gratitude, in this love, my heart will continue to sing, how great is our God. So I release these words. I release them out now, knowing that they are already done. And so all we need to do is let go and let it be. And so it is. Yes. Let's give it up for our music ministry. Yes. Amen. How great. And as we stay in the theme of how great is our God, let us go into our congregational affirmation. God is the only power. If you are available and willing to stand, please do so at this time. If not, just stand in your mind. We will say this in unison. God is the only power in my life. Nothing from without can touch the perfect life of God within me. No past experience has power over me. I am a perfect child of God, and nothing that anyone has ever done or said can interfere with my divine inheritance. The power of God is greater than any circumstance in my life. Let us breathe. The power of God is greater than any circumstance in my life. The strength of God is mine to use. Turning away from all feelings of inadequacy, I discover that all that I need is within me right now. Yes. As I forgive the past, I find that I have nothing to atone for and nothing to run away from. Casting off the old me, I discover my true self. I take dominion in my life. Old habits have no power over me. Conditions have no power over me. Have no power over me. I take dominion. I am whole. I am free. I am complete, now and forevermore. And so it is, yes, yes, now and forevermore, yes. So now we will have our community announcements. And with that, one of our most exciting things today, aside from Pride, is that we have our metaphysical Bible interpretation workshop with Reverend Deborah. Now that is going to happen today at 1:30, and it's going to go until 5. You will have a break in between. And for those attending that workshop, we will have a potluck available, and I believe that's going to be in the fellowship hall directly after service. So we are looking forward to seeing you all in this workshop today. Today, we also have featured books for the month of June. That is, one of them is Monsters in Love. And then we also have the Prospering Power of Love, as well as Mindful Love, Mindful Loving. So if you are ready to expand some love in your life, whichever direction you want to go in, the books are available, and they are available in our bookstore. All right now. So now we have a service project. I am so excited. I cannot believe our own Joanne Johnson is looking a little shy over there. So on Saturday, July 6th, we are partnering, Abundant Blessings and East Bay are partnering to do a service project. This is our community effort to feed the unhoused populations in the encampments. And so our goal is to make at least 2,000 blessing bags to feed our community here in the city of Oakland. We will have this event from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. right here at the East Bay Church of Religious Science, and we will provide some light refreshments. Please come. You can please register and let us know that you're going to be here so we'll know how much food to get. And we look forward to all of you showing up. No matter what skills you have or think you don't have, we love you, we appreciate you, and we want you here. So definitely look to see you on Saturday, July 6th. And, oh, okay. I want to also tell you about Abundant Blessings. It's Abundant Blessings East Bay, which just happens to have East Bay on it. Abundant Blessings East Bay is my own nonprofit organization. I started it with my daughter. Thank you. I started with my daughter this activity over 10 years ago. We were handing out, we saw the rising number of tents in the city of Oakland, and we just went within to see what we could do to serve, to support this effort, and to stand in the gap while these people are in the streets searching for new housing or new situations. And so most of you know that a lot of the shelters in the city of Oakland are full, and so which is why we see so many camps. And so what we do, we focus on those who don't have a tent, who don't have a structure, who have more of a tarp, piece of wood, some, plywood. And sometimes those were just laying out on the concrete. And so we have been so grateful to have the support of East Bay Church with our supplies, helping us to clothe, to keep them warm, and also our partnership with the Alameda County Food Bank to give out the 100,000 pounds of food that we've been able to do annually for many, many years. And we're so grateful for that. So that event on July 6th is a partnership of that, and we're just excited to have you with us. And now here is our own beloved senior minister, Reverend Dereca Blackmon.
Good morning, East Bay. Good morning. Yes, happy Pride. And for those of y'all who celebrated Juneteenth, happy Juneteenth. It was a busy and beautiful week this last week in Oakland, and I'm glad I wanted Reverend Ona to talk a little bit about abundant blessings, because one of the things we've been talking about is lifting up all the members of our community who are doing great work in the world. And so we've been so blessed to have Reverend Ona as our community outreach director, because like so many of us, she's out there doing things that make a difference. And so East Bay loves to partner with organizations that are in service. And that's going to be a big part of our coming year, because so many of you have said, I'm doing great things. I want East Bay to be a part of it. So we're looking forward to that. As has been said, I'm Reverend Dereca, and I use she or they gender pronouns. And I always like to let you know what my pronouns are, because you can't tell what they are by looking at me. And as part of Pride, we're going to talk a little bit more today about what that means, but I always have to start there. And it's my job to talk to you about youth and family. So there's two things that I want to tell you. Is next week we are having our Youth and Family Sunday, and yay. And because it is both Fifth Sunday and it's Pride, we want to do a special celebration of queer youth. So I'm gonna invite you to bring youth that you know who have queer identity, or who are allies, or who just need to know that there's a place where they can come to church and be centered and affirmed. I wrote a recommendation letter for someone this week to ministerial school, and when she talked about East Bay, just like Peggy talked about East Bay, or my daughter talked about East Bay during our Black History Month, she said, it was radical for me to see queer identity centered. We have met with our member, Deputy Mayor Kimberly Mayfield, and we talked about what need could East Bay serve in the community. We have a chronic issue with homelessness and queer young people. Since I was doing this work in Oakland in the 90s and early 2000s, young people who are queer are often without resources in their family if their identity is not accepted. So how can we, being the radically inclusive, this is the summer of radical love, yes? Being the radically inclusive community that we are, how can we signal that to the world and say, you don't have to choose between having a faith and being fully out and proud about who you are, yes? Yes, so next week, we'll be focusing on that. Kev Choice is going to be back with us again, as well as our youth chorus and our sister Vanessa. So it's going to be a full celebration. And then there's one more thing that's happening after we have service. Well, there's actually two, but there's one more slide for teacher training. Or did we do that one already? Okay, great. So after we have all the partying in the Youth and Family Sunday, we will also have teacher training available for those of you who are thinking, maybe I want to help in youth and family, but I don't know. This is a good opportunity for you to come meet the team, which is amazing, and then also get some support so you can feel confident coming in and being a part of that movement, because our youth and family is a big priority in year 2. And I keep talking about year 2 because July 1st is my anniversary. It is really hard to believe that it's been a year. In some ways, it feels like that was really fast. In other ways, it was like, woo, we still in the first year, huh? Okay. But it is absolutely wonderful, and we'll share more about this next week. But I said, no, let's not have a big party. I want to actually get out here and practice some healthy practices. So we're going to do a walk the following week, and maybe we'll do a little hokey pokey in the parking lot. All right? Okay, so I see. Do you have our order of service here? Am I all done? Are we doing first time guests? All right, yes. I don't have the order, so if we can get one. Yes, please, thank you. All right, if this is your first time at the East Bay Church of Religious Science, would you please stand and remain standing, because we want to give you some special love. We're not going to ask you to talk. It's just a moment for us to recognize you. All right, yes, please stand. Okay, so I just want you to make sure we got some folks over here. Y'all stay standing. I want to make sure folks over here have eye contact, and our sister here, and folks here, please remain standing. We got a gift to give you. All right. Welcome to East Bay Church. Welcome to East Bay Church. The God in us, recognizes the God in you. We see you. We love you. And we thank God for you. Welcome to East Bay. And if you are online and are love streamers, as Reverend Michael likes to call them, this QR code is for you. We have a guest book, and you can sign in. We can stay in contact. You can find out about all the great things that are happening. We are building our global community online, and so we want you to be a part of that whenever, wherever you're watching service. And if you see folks with delays on, that's our folks we want to outreach to and make sure we speak to them. All right. And so now it's time for one of my favorite people. Some of us had an opportunity to go out to Yoshi's and hear Kev at his show back June 14th, I think it was. And some of us went to both shows and acted out. They're like, I got text messages like, I saw you partying, Reverend Dereca. But, East Bay party it don't stop. It's always going to be a good time when we get there, because we bring the good time with us. And that's Kev Choice. And the opportunity to have you all here today is just a blessing. So I'm going to turn it over, let you introduce the folks, and do your thing. Thank you, Kev.
Kicks already messed up. That's about as good as when Curry put a tray up. Better get a layup. You know I stay prayed up. Always be good and represented from day one. Overcome struggle, constant hustle, and my need to know when I'm hold on, go with the flow like a sailor. Cold as a glacier, deep as a crater. I'm speaking my mind and my brain is infinite. To take you to places, make the church feel like a resort. From and take it off. Until we're struggle not existing. Pain just a figure in your imagination. Sunshine blue, blue sky fully, life goes in. We going on vacation. Put your hands up high, you feeling the vibe. Come on.
You ain't even gotta go far.
Put your hands up high, you feeling the vibe.
You can live it wherever you are.
Put your hands up high, you feeling the vibe. Come on.
Cause everybody living like stars. We about that life.
What's the type of music that's your ass about the ages? Maybe because I made it based on
Positive
vibration. Try to reach deep in your soul, erase the worst fears back to the day you were born. Wipe your first tears, see that coming you felt, you looked in your mother's eyes.
Some of us are born,
they never really still alive. Got so many talents inside, we never realize. Afraid to get inside, ridicule, that's the side. First piano recital, I messed up with it.
I can lay your head down, teachers that supported me.
I was ready to quit. The universe was at work, provide me with a purpose. In turn, I provide you. Sound make it guide you. Let you do right there, that's perfect. I'm doing the world, keep the service. If I shine a little light, all you gotta do is open the curtain. It's like open your blind, I really need the blind. It's like open your eyes, I really open your mind. And I hope you don't mind. It's like a journey in time. It's like the past and the present and the future is mine. It's like the stars in the line. We all in that line. The science of each other to the more to the mind. Possibilities infinite. This is just the beginning. We create exercise with the mind with the mind. Put your hands up high if you feeling the vibe. Come on.
Yeah, where you are.
Hey, put your hands up high if you feeling the vibe.
And you ain't living more. Cause everybody living like stars. We about that life.
Somebody say hola, hola, hola.
Hola, hola.
Say la, 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 hey.
La, 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 la.
Say hola, 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 hey.
Hola, hola,
Let's take it one more time. Happy summer solstice, we had a beautiful summer solstice this week. You know, we always love the sunshine. It's my favorite time of year. We also got to train our mind to see the sunshine in all of the days. In every single thing that we do. See the sun, see the light. Remember, Dereca told me, you love the sunshine, but then you love the rain as well. This is the class that we're going to flip out all of the way to each page.
Everybody loves the sunshine. Sunshine. Everybody loves the sunshine. Everybody loves the sunshine. Kev Choice. Everybody loves the sunshine. Sunshine. Everyone in the sunshine. Sunshine. Everybody loves the sunshine. 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 Kev Choice, game drummer, Clark Sim.
That's right, East Bay. Give it up for Clark Sims on bass, Dame Drummer on drums, and a little vocals. Kev Choice killing it on the keys and the MC. And don't forget the vocal stylings of our own music minister, Reverend Queen Michelle Jordan. All right. Today is a wonderful, wonderful day to be alive, yes? And if it doesn't feel like a wonderful day to be alive yet, that's all right. That's what you came here for, right? Today, in the summer of radical love, we're going to do some work on perception. We're going to do a radical shift of our perception about wherever it is that we're not having the full experience of divinity that we want to have. So you can go ahead and just bring that thing up right now. Wherever it is that it feels stuck. Does it feel stuck in the family, in the relationship, at the job? Are you stuck on the evils of the world? All of the above. You stuck on the diagnosis, on the family history, and you gonna get what your mama had, and all of those things. That's just stuckness. And the good thing is, I've been reading a lot. I wasn't feeling well this week, so I missed a lot of the good fun, but I did get a lot of rest. And I have like 5 books that I'm reading right now. Yes, I did get rest. Y'all so cute. Y'all be worried about me. Reverend Dereca, you gotta sit down. I love when I get into my nerdy book mode because there's so much good stuff here. So I'm reading, as always, Living the Science of Mind, because that's kind of like, for me, it's the book where I can go into Ernest Holmes and get just like a little bit where he doesn't overwhelm me with like all of what he has to say about everything, but I can pick like a topic and go in there and get deeper into that. You saw that for relationships, which is our first issue in Radical Love, we're reading 3 books. Resma Menaken's Monsters in Love. We're not talking about this book because it needs its own service. This might be a couple services, so go ahead and get it now, because this right here, that's working me out. So we're gonna put that down here for today because I gotta get that fully embodied. And then 2 of my favorite books on relationships, Mindful Loving by Dr. Henry Grayson, and just fresh in a classic, Catherine Ponder's The Prospering Power of Love. So all of these are chock full with inspiration. One of the things I love about religious science is that we focus a lot on truth wherever it is taught. So what always gets me excited is when I'm reading about different new thought traditions or ancient wisdom, because some folks get a little caught up, all these white folks in new thought, and it's like, oh, I don't know about all these folks. And yet, it's truth wherever it's taught, right? And so, yes, I know we got a bunch of ancient religions and wisdom teachings from indigenous folks. And it's all one thing. And that's the practice we're doing, is fusing it all together and looking at the through line. So we had Baba Greg Hodge here last week, who was just breaking down all of the Kemetic origins of all the things that we call New Thought. And I love it. New Thought, ancient wisdom, it's all one, yes? Okay, so let me nerd out a little bit with some Ernest Holmes. Okay, so we're going to go. I know I got the twins here. We're going to go to page 165. I love it. You know what I'm saying? We're doing Bible wisdom today with Reverend Deborah. You know, Dr. Mary Tumpkin used to say, if you're a rare metaphysical student, you have your Bible with you, turn to this book. And so it's all right. We're going to have our Science of Mind textbook. And here on page 165, Ernest Holmes says this: God does speak to the heart more than to the intellect. And this is why it is that often you will find a person who can apparently give no reason for what he believes. He says, I know that God is all there is and there is nothing else. And by some inward, childlike faith, his intellect has surrendered to that which is greater than he is. And guess what? The miracle takes place. And so when we talk about this integration of the intellect and the heart, what we're saying is that sometimes we try to keep them separate, right? Especially in this religious science thing, we get into like change your thinking, and you have to, we equate it with positive thinking. That's not what this is. The science of mind is not just replacing an old thought with a new thought. That's positive thinking, and we love that, and that's great. It's about the heart, the spirit that actually knows the truth and discerns it, and then you putting that into practice in your thoughts. Do you understand? The heart part comes first. The spirit part is a part of you. That's how you know which thoughts to think. Do you understand? You got to have, because people want a prescription from a pulpit. I can't give you that. I can't give you that because I don't know what's actually right for you. That's something you come for a practice session with me, we're going to figure it out together. And we're not just going to figure it out with our brains. See, religious science attracts a lot of smart people. We're smart enough to reject the doctrine of our former church. We're smart enough to reject the idea of a man in the sky. We reject a lot of ideas, and that's how we get here, right? But don't leave the heart behind. Don't leave the wisdom and discernment behind, because that's the thing. You know, I used to bring my daughter to church, and she didn't always want to go. And her father wasn't necessarily so supportive of church as an idea. You know, if you had been to East Bay, I get it. I see why you wouldn't like church. But I said to him, and I've said this many times, we make her go to school. And let me tell you something I know for sure. In the midnight hour, in the hard times, all that intellect is beautiful. But when the world doesn't make sense, when the pain happens, you got to be able to go into something else. And that's what we're doing. We are carving that neurological pathway, right? No, we're carving the neural pathways so that we can have a different go-to. That's why Reverend E had us read God is the only power in my life. Because I promise you, you say it enough times, when the moment comes, you'll just say it. You'll find yourself saying it out loud. I mean, I know I have sung What a Friend We Have in Jesus more than a couple times, because that's what was put into me. So in the moment, it came out, and it doesn't matter whether I call it Jesus or nature or divine spirit or Buddha or Allah or Om or whatever I call it. What matters is that I have something I can call upon in the moment where the world doesn't make sense, in the moment where my intellect is not helping me find the way out of it. Now, I don't have to curse the intellect. Let me say that. We're not putting anything or anybody outside of the circle of God. Let me say that again. We're not putting anything or anybody outside the circle of God. So remember that problem I told you to think about earlier? The solution is everybody in that picture is God, including and especially you. Now, sometimes when we talk about I am God in religious science, people get really uncomfortable. And what I'm trying to say is everything that God is, I am. I'm not all of God, but all of me is God. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's read this last little piece here because it gets good. Same page, 165. But their word is powerful because they listen with the heart. And through some unknown avenue, the heart reaches a depth that the intellect can penetrate only mathematically. Of course, it's well to combine the intellect and feeling and to use both the head and the heart. And as a practitioner, and I'm going to tell you, you are a practitioner if you use this teaching. You might not have a license, but a practitioner is one who uses this teaching. As a practitioner, you will put these qualities together until they fuse into one. And then the head will speak through the heart, and the heart will lead through the intellect. This, we believe, is psychological wholeness. Wilt thou be made whole? You know, that's what Jesus said to the man lying by the pool at Bethesda. He had a story. Y'all know what the story is? Oh, I want to get in the pool, Jesus. It's not my fault that I'm not in there. Everybody's going ahead of me. It's not fair. I can't get up. I need to get in there, and they skipped my turn. They cut the line. Oh, y'all don't have nothing in your life like that. You don't have anybody you think is getting an unfair advantage over you. Somebody getting over on you, somebody getting more attention, more resources, more time. I mean, I don't know, it might just be me, but at the pool of Bethesda, Jesus is looking and he says, get up. Get up. Wilt thou be made whole? Take up your bed and walk, because it is done unto you as you believe. So if what you believe is somebody can block your blessing and take away your blessing, if somebody can take what is rightfully yours, then that's an idea. That's a story. Psychological wholeness is going to tell you that the people getting in the pool are not your enemy, they're your allies. You didn't think to say, hey, can you help me get in the pool? Oh, that looks fun. We so mad at anybody happy. I know about it. I used to have a friend in college who was like, good morning. It's too early for all of that. You understand, it's tempting to look at somebody that's a little too perky and happy about what you so happy about. What you smiling about? Didn't you get that bad news? Or you just fake? Because the real is to complain all the time, right? And it's okay. You know, one of the things we did a couple weeks ago was Talk Back. And Talk Back is every second Wednesday. It's a Ask Me Anything with me. And one of the pushbacks that I got was from Mindful Loving. Last time I talked about Mindful Loving and the ego. And one of our members wrote me and he said, well, and he also came to Talk Back and he said, well, it felt a little like Henry Grayson was kind of saying the ego is bad, right? And we have to push that down. And we do a lot of that in religious science, a little hierarchy, the highest thought and the lowest thought and the highest self and the lowest self. And it still feels like duality. We might as well be talking about heaven and hell and God and the devil if we're going to keep fracturing ourselves in two. Let's not fracture ourselves. This is what psychological wholeness is counting it all as good. So I really wanted to preach on Inside Out today. I really did. But I got in trouble with Dr. Sandra the last time I preached on Omar because she had tickets to the show and I told the whole show at the service. So I said, okay, I'm going to give y'all another week to go see it because next week I'm preaching on Inside Out. So you got another week to go see it, or you're just going to have to, tune out the service because we're going to have I'm giving you the spoiler alert right now. Next week is Inside Out. But, yes, but part of the recognition, the realization in this moment that we're talking about with this integration, with this wholeness, is we're not going to curse the ego part of ourselves. We're not going to curse the part that maybe is a little imbalanced in relying on the intellect, right? We're not going to curse the part that is kind of tripping ourselves up over and over and over and over again. We're not going to curse that. We're going to love it. That's what I want you to do with the part of yourself, the gremlin, the negative self-talk, all of that stuff. I want you to love it. I remember I was doing integrated family systems with my therapist. And in that, you have all these parts. Anybody know integrated family? Yes, okay, good. All right, I knew where I was. I saw the hands, right? And you have all these parts, and you name your parts. And one of my parts is the critic. Anybody got a critic? Oh, okay, good. I have the critic going on inside, and it's loud. Always got something to say about everything. And my therapist talked to me about bringing everybody together and putting everybody to bed, like the little children that they are inside my mind. She said, put everybody to bed. And so it was easy, to put the wise woman, to put the love, and even the little girl. She was okay. We put all of them to bed. But the critic, she was like, what do you want to say to the critic as you tuck it in at night? And she's just such a genius. You ever have a therapist or a practitioner or somebody that's just a genius? They just say the right thing and it just comes out of you. And I said, thank you. I know you're trying to help, but you can just rest now. Right? What a different relationship to have with ourselves. A different relationship to have with the part of ourselves that sometimes hurts us. Because I'm going to tell you, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. That's a Reverend E special right there. The way you do one thing. So that thing that you're having a hard time loving in yourself, it's what you keep seeing in everybody else. That same critic, that same judge, if you can love yours, then when you hear somebody else's misdirected judgment of you, you recognize it as somebody that just needs a nap. Oh, you're tired, aren't you? You understand that some people in your life just need a nap. I might be one of them, and that's all right. You understand? And so that's the reframe. That's the psychological wholeness, because your heart, if you're willing, it still feels into the moment. If you're willing to love your enemy, whoever that is, you'll feel it. The presence of God. When you're looking for the presence of God, you feel it. And I'm going to tell you, I have looked in some really hard places. Y'all think when I keep bringing up Trump in here that I'm saying it just as a gauntlet, as a challenge. But if I'm going to do this, I want to do it at the highest level. And right now, for me personally, yeah, that's a lot of work right there. I remember Reverend E telling me we have to pray for Johannes Meserly after he shot Oscar Grant. And I was like, I can't do that. But I'm going to tell you what. We all got a little Johannes in us. We all got a little Trump in us. We all got a little blind spot where we're just like, hey, it's all about me. You see it, you react to it because you recognize it. You can't see it if you ain't it. If you don't have it, you wouldn't even recognize what it was. This is a hard teaching, y'all. I didn't say it was going to be the summer of fun love. This is the summer of radical love, and we together as a community are going to pray for those that we make up a story that spitefully use us. And I'm going to tell you why. Because everything else is a self-perpetuating pattern of negativity, violence, oppression, and all those things we like to call sin. Everything else just perpetuates the cycle. As long as somebody gets to be the enemy, we're going back in the same situation we were. Ask me how I know. I spent 5 minutes looking at that television y'all call news, and I was like, whoa. I mean, is this like a comic book? Because, I mean, that villain has everything but horns. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, what good is that doing? How is that helping us? How will we get, what kind of change is being created? And we grow further and further and further apart. Because it all looks like insanity to me. Because we keep teaching that God is all there is. Now, I think you know me well enough to know that I am absolutely not saying that we shouldn't work extremely hard to elect the people that best represent our values. We need to do that, but we cannot, will not do it from a place of demonizing anyone. Because then we're not living our values ourselves. We're so worried about somebody else's broken values. What are the broken values that demonizes the other side? Everybody is waiting for somebody to reach across the aisle from whoever you think the enemy is and put out the olive branch. Now, I'm not telling you they're going to take it. They're going to throw it down and trample on it. This isn't for them. It's for us. It's for us to shift our mind and our consciousness about where the power is. That's what that is. And I'm talking about Trump, but I might be talking about the person you sleeping in the bed next to. Oh, that feels different, don't it? I only know one thing. There's no spot where God is not. And if I can go to the hardest parts of my consciousness, if I can have a reaction, Kev and I were talking before service about Kendrick and Drake. And, you know, there's something about they not like us that, I'm sorry, for folks who don't know, Kendrick Lamar is our Pulitzer Prize-winning hip-hop artist who has recently re-elevated the tradition of diss records to a whole other level. And I like to say Ja ruled Drake, who is on the throne. This is what hip-hop is. It's a competition. I don't mind a competition. I don't think that's about making people bad. I think sometimes it's about making people great. But there was something about the idea they not like us that kind of bothered me just a little bit. Now, Kev made an excellent point. It's becoming a whole movement of uplifting a culture, and that's the thing we do. We'll flip something that we started out as an attack, and then we make it a thing that embraces us. But I just want to note, can I just put a little asterisk, that the construct of who we other, who we judge, who we decide is not worthy of the fame and admiration. I'm just going to tell you, if you live by that sword, you frequently will die by it. Because there before the grace of God go every single one of us perpetrating the fraud. But it's not what we want. We want to believe we have more value. We have more integrity, more authenticity. We're right. And I'm going to tell you, if we're talking about relationships, you often have two choices. You can be happy or you can be right. Should I say it again? You could be happy or you could be right. Well, I'm not going to be happy unless I'm right, Reverend Dereca. You know what we say in religious science to that? And so it is. If you decide that your happiness is predicated on your ability to make somebody else wrong, forget about it. That's not happiness. That's smugness. That's superiority, and superiority is a lie. So that whole foundation you building, that's all lies. The I'm better than you perspective, because let's go back, though. Let's go back to psychological wholeness. Do you understand? It's that moment where your heart goes, I see you struggling. I'm going to still set some boundaries because you're not about to bring that madness over here, right? But I see you and I see me in you. I was talking to somebody going through a conflict, and they were telling me, well, that's what they did. And I was like, and was it wrong when they did it? So now you just want to do the wrong again. Because it doesn't make sense. But fear keeps us constricted. It keeps us bound. We're like that man at the pool, afraid that somebody's going to get the better of us, afraid that somebody's going to go ahead of us, afraid that we're not going to be made whole if other people are. Somehow we have less. That's not how God works. This is an abundant universe. There's enough for you and you and you and you and me too. That belief will shift everything. There is enough love. There is enough. There is enough money. I don't care what the story is about the Bay Area. Every single day, people are finding a miracle in this place. Every single day, people are working to change policies so it won't be the way that it is. And some of them are at this church organizing around faith and action and looking at affordable housing. There's work to do in this, but the first work is changing your perception. Because if the perception is it's impossible for my body to be well, insert story here, because I have this diagnosis, because I have this thing. Look, I want to say this about healing and religious science. We're going to have a whole month on health, but I just want to say this right now. We pray for a healing, not a cure. Because we understand and submit that we don't know everything. We're not controlling everything. I don't know what somebody told you dominion was, but it does not mean that God is a drive-through. And you place an order, and whatever you ordered, you get, and you should complain if you don't get what you ordered. Do you understand? That's not how this thing works. That's not what speaking your word is about. It's just the idea that you're going to get fries because you said you wanted fries. This psychological wholeness is an act of trust. It's an act of faith. It must be cultivated based upon all your past experiences of manifesting good. All of the places where you already know you weren't supposed to have what you have. You've had miracles in your life, even if it's that you woke up this morning. You have miracles in your life already, so you know what it is to trust and believe that a way will be made out of no way. So when you order the fries and you get a milkshake and you lactose intolerant, you have to ask, what is the lesson in this? What is it here for me to learn? What am I supposed to do with this milkshake? Let me get back to a text here. Okay, where are my glasses? Got beyond. Do you understand what I'm saying? I don't know what you're supposed to do. I don't know why they gave you a milkshake. That's not the point. The point is we have an opportunity to shift our thinking, shift our perception, shift our psychological wholeness so that we are grounded in the reality that life is good and its intention is to bless us. So back to, we were talking about diagnosis and prayer and healing and cure. I want to make sure I don't miss that point. The healing can look like somebody who makes their transition. That it can look like that. I don't know why. And you can ask me all the hard questions, and I can't tell you why. And I can't tell you that if you pray better, they're going to stick around. I don't want you to believe that. That's not how that works. Prayer is powerful. It changes things. But mostly what it changes is our thinking about where God is in this. So we can get out of the way of sometimes, how many people know sometimes you're the reason somebody is holding on when it's time for them to go? Anybody ever been in that experience? That somebody wants to take care of you, so they're going to hold on even when it's time for them to go, right? And that's all right. I'm not judging us. I wanted more time with my grandmother, my friend, my brother. I wanted more time. That's okay. But in the quiet moment, there's an opportunity for us to recognize we're not in control. That's not what dominion is. This integration, this psychological wholeness of our head and our heart says, be still and know that I am God. And that God and you are one. God and the person is one. God is no respecter of personalities or diagnosis or disease. So let me just tune in to what is mine to know, to hold, to believe, to hold fast to remember in this moment. And maybe it's just that you are perfect exactly how you are. That's a divine idea. No matter what the doctor said. I got a diagnosis myself a couple weeks ago. And I went within. What is mine to do? Some of y'all been telling me, change my diet. Change my diet, everything changed. Changed it right back, everything went back to right how it was. Just because I'm hard-headed and I needed some additional proof that I had power over the situation. I mean, you know me, I'm going to tell you the truth. Right? But do not use this principle in reverse. Do not beat yourself up because you're not able to control the situation. Because you can't change the diagnosis. Because you can't change the person you chose as your partner. Do not beat yourself with this teaching. This teaching is about liberation. And that liberation is something that comes from your personal relationship with yourself and your relationship with God, which no one else can tell you about. I'm going to give you some principles and some teachings, but I want to give you this image, and we'll close with this. This is a quote from Thomas Merton that is in Mindful Loving, and I just thought it was so beautiful. I believe it's page 147. And Thomas Merton is a 20th century contemplative Christian mystic, and he was in a busy marketplace, and he had this experience. Then it was as if I suddenly saw the secret beauty of their hearts, the depths of their hearts, the core of their reality, the person that each one is in God's eyes. If only they could see themselves as they really are. If only we could see each other that way all the time. There would be no more war, no more hatred, no more cruelty, no more greed. I suppose the big problem would be that we would fall down and worship each other. It's going to be radical, worshiping each other. But just feel into that. And when you go home today, start with the mirror and see if you can worship right there. Because for some of us, it's easier with somebody else. But that psychological wholeness is going to remind you that no matter what your mind says, you haven't done right. Your heart knows the miracle of you. And nothing you have ever done or said interferes with your divine inheritance, your divine birthright. You are here to be God. Let us worship that. Let us worship that. I've invited Christine Schofer. Thank you so much. Christine Schofer is with us today, and sometimes she's halfway across the world, so we're happy she's here. I'm inviting her. Christine, will you pray us out?
Let's stay right here. right here in our hearts. All the words that have been spoken, all the music we've heard, all the singing, all the laughing, it's in our heart. And this is what we take with us no matter where we go. This is the prayer that is expanding our life right this moment and from here on forever. And I know that it is good and it is very good, and I know that every prayer in this prayer box, every prayer request is fulfilled. And I understand that we open our minds as we open our heart to see the journey of fulfillment of our prayer. Because as Reverend Dereca said, it's not simple, but it happens. And it's a teaching as well as a fulfillment. And so I just give thanks for this service. I give thanks for everyone here, and I give thanks for this unbelievable energy I feel standing here in front of you. I give thanks for this East Bay Church and all that it brings, all that it is, all that it does. And for each and every one of you, I release this word. I know it's done, and so it is.
Christine Schofer. And now I'm going to turn it back to Reverend Ona. It's offertory time, and she's going to lead us in being centered in the giving experience. Can y'all give Reverend Ona a round of applause for her wonderful work?
Now it's time for our gracious giving. Let us all just go within just for a moment. Let us think about all that we have received and all that we want to give out into the world. Be it directly, be it through this center of love, East Bay Church. And let us breathe that in and release as we say our tithing statement together. As I give thanks for the good now flowing to my life, I gladly share that good with others. The more I give, the more I receive, and so it is. And I just want to remind you there are so many ways to give. First of all, we have our kiosk for those who are here with us in the sanctuary. You can also text as well as send on Zelle in so many different ways. And we are so very grateful for every contribution and every donation.
Grateful nice and easy. Here we go. Grateful, I am grateful, yes, I'm grateful. Grateful, I am grateful, yes, I'm grateful. My gift to you is gratitude. Oh, yes, I'm grateful. Yes, I'm grateful. Every voice say, grateful, I am grateful, yes, I'm grateful. Grateful, grateful, I am grateful, yes, I'm grateful. My gift to you is gratitude, is gratitude.
in this attitude of gratitude, I just give thanks. I give thanks for the ability to be grateful. To be grateful for my life, for my health, for the ability to love, and for the ability to be in service. I know that all things are that within God. And that Godness, that God beingness is in each and every one of us. It is in the form, the activity, in the doing. So I just give thanks. I give thanks for each and every tithe, each and every offering, each and every contribution, each and every thought in mind saying that I am in this flow and in this process. I give thanks. Yes, I am grateful as I release and release and release and let it all go and let it be. And so it is. So now we have a few reminders as we prepare to leave this sacred space. Remember that directly following, we have the metaphysical workshop, the Bible workshop with Reverend Deborah that is going to start at 1:30. There is a potluck for those attending. On July 6th.
Thank you, Reverend Ona. I just want to say a quick something about new member orientation. So special thanks to Lee Valentine and all the folks who have been working on that. We have 20 people signed up already. I'll be attending the People of African Descent conference at Unity Village, and I did an interview with Reverend Elzia Saturday, and we talked about, he brought up the construct, you know this one, of commitment and involvement. And you know the little expression is that the chicken, when you got breakfast, bacon, and eggs, the chicken is involved and the pig is committed. All the vegans are like, all of that is horrible. But the idea in the moment is that many of us get involved, but here's an opportunity to commit. And to say, I'm going to focus on helping to build this community. It's going to be completely on Zoom, so I really want to invite people. There are lots of folks who only watch online because they can't come physically, they live in other places, or they're bound to their house for a variety of different reasons. So I want to invite you to sign up as well. And to invite others. This is a moment. You can feel it. We're building the future of East Bay. It's our 50th anniversary. And there are some amazing things that are happening. We want you to be a part of it. So if you've been involved and you're ready to get committed, you got two Saturdays. A Saturday and a Sunday. Whew, goodness.
We got a whole lot of time.
2 hours on the 29th and 2 hours on the 30th, online on Zoom. We hope that you will join us and get committed. All right, what else is happening? New member orientation. Oh, the books are available after service. And for our new folks, there's a free book for you. You got a coupon in your packet. So the bookstore is straight down the hallway to the right. And you can come on out because I'd like to meet you. So we're going to go out now as we close with our closing song. Oh,
And as we prepare to leave this space, let us all stand if you are available to do so. If we have practitioners who are available for prayer afterwards, please make your way to the back. And I just want to say to our congregation, do not leave here with anything on your heart, whether how great or how small. talk to one of the practitioners, talk to one of the ministers. Allow us to help you to shift your consciousness today. Our prayer rooms are also available and open online as well. So as we go forth into the world, may love, joy, peace, and prosperity abide in and as us right now and forevermore. Let us affirm, wherever I am, the goodness of life is. And so it is.